Another video that I thought would be helpful to make was, what does faith look like as a full-time photographer? I have been a Christian for 7 years now, or at least, fully bought in, spirit-filled, life to Christ kind of Christian, right? Not just hand raising. And I think doing this full-time teaches you a lot about faith that my salary position just couldn't. Let me explain. When I was on salary, I had to have a lot of faith for the day-to-day in that I didn't exactly like what I was doing. And so I needed the grace and the faith to continue and to live in gratitude and to smile and enjoy the blessings that God had for me where I was at in the season that I was in. And it was different because the money was there. The salary was provided for. I knew I could count on a paycheck, and I knew what that paycheck would be. For some reason, though, I was more anxious about money then than I am now. There has been a shift in how I look at decisions and change and money that my full-time job, like my corporate job, just couldn't have done. Now that I'm working for myself and I have to provide for myself, I'm looking at the parable of the sparrow, or the verses in Matthew. I believe it's chapter 5. It's either chapter 5 or 7. I think it's 7. Anyhow, could be 9. 5, 7, or 9. It's in there. Where it talks about how God feeds the sparrows. Like the sparrows don't reap or harvest or anything, but like God still provides for them. And I was thinking about that the other day, and I realized that, yeah, obviously God is providing for them, but he also created the sparrows with wings, right? He creates his creatures with the ability to go and get, right? And so I look at provision as a partnership, right? God is going to provide, but I got to go get the provision. That doesn't mean that my go getting the provision creates the provision, right? But it is partnering with God. God, from the beginning, right? God has always wanted to partner with us. And so as a full-time freelancer, I don't know if I'm a freelancer. Calling a wedding photographer a freelancer feels like a dirty word. It feels like, oh, I'm but I also, and I also do all these other things, but like I mostly do weddings, obviously. And so it's refined my faith because I've had to learn, like, yes, there is the component of deep, earnest prayer, and like, God, I need you to provide, money and food and leads for me. But there's also the responsibility of, hey, Micah, I have given you these talents, these gifts, these resources. Use them. Take what I've given you and flourish, right? I think it has also helped me, I think it has also helped me in my faith in that I have had to rely on things day by day. There are some weeks that are slow, multiple weeks on end. And then everything can change in one day, and I've got 4 leads, and it's busy and crazy, and I don't know what to do. I can't predict that. At a salaried job, there was a lot more prediction. There was a lot more kind of comfort and security there. And so I have had to adjust my faith to be a bit more short-term, but also having a long-term comfort in that, like, yes, God will sustain what he wants to sustain. He could completely shutter this thing. This could all fall apart, but I have to have the faith that whatever his journey for my life is in this, it is good, and he knew it, and this is not an accident. So my prayer life changed dramatically in that I used to kind of pray the same prayers every day, kind of walking into the office, and now they just seem a bit more personal. Like, things seem a bit more personal and deeper and more, I think urgent would be the word. I think there's an urgency to my prayer because I know there's no one above me. Like, there's no boss that I have. There's no employees under me. I mean, this is all kind of on me. But I know that if I'm partnering with God in these efforts, there's great security in being there with him. I think being a full-time photographer has also helped my faith in that I am challenged to find new ways to be around people, period. In a corporate job, it's pretty easy. I mean, you get your coworkers, you go to lunch, you have work events. I mean, there's ways to be around people that don't know Jesus or that know Jesus and need encouragement. But now I work alone. I work for myself. I work from home. I mean, there's much more intentionality that has to be placed on the other third spaces that are in my life, like whether that's the gym or just the neighborhood. whether that is, just being out in public at random places. And obviously, social media and kind of the wedding space and the wedding vendor space that I have is definitely in that as well. I think it's allowed me and forced me to reevaluate how I see those spaces and how I interact with people. And it's helped me see people better. It's the service industry, right? Being a full-time photographer is the service industry. You're serving people, customer service all day. And so I have learned to see people better and I think to respect people better. Because when you're just around the same people every day, I mean, you kind of get your tribe and then you don't really have to invest in and then pour into other people as much. But now it is easier for me to talk to strangers, smile at strangers, relate to strangers. Still be a little cautious sometimes if they're scary strangers. If you hear fluttering, there's a bird flying back into its nest. I apologize. We call it porch bird at my house. This is my house. How else has being a full-time photographer helped my faith? I didn't take any notes, so I apologize. And we're running on the 10-minute mark here, so I'll wrap it up quick. But I think lastly, oh, there's the bird. Nice. Lastly, yeah, being a full-time photographer has been really good for my faith in that it has challenged me to work and worship and pray in a way that I simply would not have before. I think my prayer life took off. I think not the pressure, but like the responsibility and the weight of, I love all the flitting around that's going on in this bird nest. But the weight that is on my actions, one sec. I'm outside. I don't know if that'll pick up on the microphone, but I'm outside. The weight on my actions has caused me to work with more excellence and I think take my habits more seriously, whether those are personal habits or professional habits. I think it has helped me to rest better. It's just improved my rhythms. I think yes, like I said, there's another video I just made where I essentially said it's really hard. Full-time freelance is great in that you have more time and less time, more responsibility, less responsibility, but it has helped me to prioritize rest. I am not burning the candle at both ends, and I'm able to set aside time to intentionally connect with Christ, connect with others, and truly rest, to truly have a Sabbath rhythm. I have a Sabbath rhythm now, and that's great. And being able to know and experience and to live into these seasons of, the dry season and the rainy season, these crazy, intense, busy seasons, and then the seasons where I am still working but kind of resting and prepping for that and enjoying the time that is more slow. It is a profound blessing to do what I believe God has called me to do, at least for now. God has called me to this for now. I don't think I'm a failure or I am less than called or less than holy if this fell through, right? Because God, it's not an accident to God. And so I think I've learned a lot about, like I said earlier, I've learned a lot about provision. And through that, I've learned a lot about God's character. And I think just reflected on that a lot more than I think I would have. I'm less anxious about money now. I don't, sure, I check it to make sure I'm good, but I was very obsessive about money in my corporate job. I was very, budget conscious and just trying to really do everything right and save as much as I could. And looking back on that, now yes, I know what's going on with my money, but it's not, I know that I'll be provided for and I can just be confident in that. And I'm less held on to it, which you would think obviously that I would be more conscious in holding on to it, but the opposite is true. And so I praise God for that. And where do I think this will go is a good question to follow up with. I think this will continue to refine my faith in providing for a family, providing for, dates or a wedding or whatever. The financial responsibility on my life is going to continue to increase, and that will continue to refine, my choices and my decisions. Even the whole reason I'm making this video is that I want to stop watching so many videos and try to create more. And I think that there is a lot of room for me to grow, and that's really cool to think about. There's a lot of room for me to be a better provider, a better husband, whenever that happens. a better man of Christ. And I think the opportunity in that is with Christ. You know, I get to do all this with him. And so that's what I look at the future, and I look at that as like, I mean, whatever happens, like, it's going to get to be with him, and that's going to be what's super cool about it, is that I will get to do all this with him, and I will learn a lot. And I hope I fail. I mean, I hope there's things that I fail at and that I learn from, but ultimately, it's going to be a great ride. I think it's going to be a really cool ride, and I'm excited. So I'm going to cut it off here. Thank you for watching. This is how my faith interacts with being a full-time photographer. See you guys.